So we've already got our yellow piece done. This time I'm going to make a white piece. And it really doesn't matter where I put it, but I don't want to put it connected to this one. So I'm going to build it over here to the side, but it's the same process. So we're going to go to create sketch. I'm going to choose the same bottom plane that I did before.
Where's the create sketch button?
It's up here in the upper left. The button that you use most often, these two are both in the upper left. That's how it works with Windows most of the time. All right, so that's the original yellow part, but I'm going to build the white part on this side. So once I select the plane that I'm going to sketch on, I click the plane, and then it opens up my sketch menu. So I went from my solid menu to my sketch menu. In my sketch menu, I'm going to use the rectangle tool. We're going to draw another rectangle because remember, we're starting with an individual cube. That's how we're going to start it. So we draw our rectangle, and then we're going to dimension the sides of the rectangle to make sure they're the right size. So this is your dimension button. You use it quite often as well. I'm going to click on that side. And then 0.75 is our proper dimension. Do the same thing for the height. So we've got to dimension both of them to 0.75. So 0.75, 0.75. So that's good. That's all I have to do to start this one. So I'm going to finish sketch. Now we extrude it because currently it's just a drawn square. It is not a cube yet. So we're going to extrude it 0.75. Now it still looks like a square, but that's because of the angle that I'm viewing it from. So if I go over to my rotation cube in the upper right corner, if I hover over it, I'll see a little house. So if I click the house, that'll take me back to the isometric view. So there's the yellow part, and here's my new cube to start the white part. So I'm going to add another cube to it right here. So I just hover over the side I want to add a cube to, and then create new sketch. I'm going to use the project geometry trick this time. Create, project right here. Or I put the button up here so I can use it. And there we go. I've copied it. So once you have project geometry, you just click on the square and it'll copy that square to your new sketch. Finish sketch. Extrude 0.75. So I've done two cubes together. My puzzle part, not yours, but mine, it has these two cubes and it has two more right beside it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch this side here. Put a new sketch on this side, and I'm going to copy the entire rectangle and finish that sketch. And I'm extruding two cubes at the same time. So instead of doing them one at a time, I know this is supposed to be made up of 4 wooden cubes in a square. So I'm just going to do it like this. And so I did 2 at a time. So instead of doing 1 cube at a time, I was thinking ahead, knowing what my block looks like in front of me. That's the proper shape for the bottom part. I do have 1 more cube though, and that 1 more cube is sitting right on top. So I'm going to put a new sketch right on top, and it is sitting on one corner like this. And if I move slow enough, I can get, before I click to finish this sketch, I can move my mouse cursor to where I see 0.75 width, 0.75 depth or height rather. And that's what I want. I can go back if I want to and double check those measurements. 0.75 is good. And then over here, oh, that's an angle. I don't want that. You have to use your escape key sometimes. And then that's 0.75 as well. So that's good. That's perfect sketch. And then finally extrude. You could extrude this L shape, but that's not what I want. I want to extrude this individual cube. 0.75. Go back to my rotation cube, click on the house. So there's my white block, my white part. So I'm going to make this one white, but to do that, I want to make it a component first. So we go to Assemble, New Component. And then over here in my menu, I'm going to select From Bodies, click, check that, make that a little checkbox. From Bodies, which body do I want to make into a component? This yellow one's already a component. So I want to make the white one or this new one into a component. So I select it. That's why this change, watch this. See over here, it says select with your arrow. So when I do that, click once, it changes to one selected. So I've selected one and click OK. And then over here, it went from having a bodies folder to now just having a component. I'm going to go ahead and rename component 2, rename it to the white piece. And then I'm going to change the color of the white piece. So I hover over the name white piece, change the appearance, type in my library search, type in the word white. And to be consistent, I'm going to do paint. Well, I'm not because they have paint glossy. Let's do plastic matte. It's translucent. Plastic matte. I'm going to grab that and drag it to my palette. And then I can place it onto my part. There we go. So there's my white piece. So I will do that with my individual pieces. I have 5 different pieces, 5 different puzzle pieces, right? For me, I have red, blue, green, yellow, white, because we're limited in the number of color options we have in Fusion. So that's why I chose these colors. These are primary colors that are in Fusion. So if you want to know why I didn't choose a different color, that's why. I went with colors that I knew Fusion already had.